Okay, here we go. We finally, and I truly mean finally, have new details about Compulsion's next game, alongside Obsidian Entertainment's small title, but you know what? We're not going to get into that. These were leaks by Windows Central, and I have to say, it gets me excited. Let's get into this leak and see what exactly Compulsion Games' next big AAA game is all about. I'm super excited. There's a lot to talk about here, so let's just dive right in. Hey, what's up everyone? Thanks for stopping by and checking out the video. Remember to hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support is greatly appreciated. And if you want to be notified of future content, make sure to hit that small little bell icon. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you want to go that extra mile to support the channel, hit that join button. Trust me, it helps a lot. Okay, so we can finally talk about Compulsion Games' next project. And if you've been listening to this channel for more than a month or even more than a year now, you know that I can't wait to see what this developer is making. I've mentioned them before in multiple videos. I've talked about how they came to Xbox back in 2018. During that time, they made We Happy Few, which was a completely original game that people were hyped for. When it released, it was met with some mixed reviews, yet people couldn't deny that it was extremely creative. But once they joined Xbox, things started to change. We know they were going to be a developer that was probably going to make AA or AAA studios. One of those studios that were in between a AA or AAA studio that could bring out a game every 2 or 3 years. But that's not what happened at all. Instead, they went to Xbox, pitched a game, and truly wanted to be a AAA studio making massive games that pushed themselves into something greater. Xbox saw what they wanted to make and decided to give them a whole new studio to work out of, not to mention expand their studio like crazy, pretty much more than doubling their entire staff on hand. This shows that Xbox has a lot of confidence in this new studio, but also confidence in what the game is. And for a while, we sat here wondering exactly what they were making, what type of game they were going to give us. If it was single player, multiplayer, or story driven. Well, we got our answer, so let's get right into what the leak has to say. New upcoming Xbox exclusive revealed, Project Midnight from Compulsion and Pentiment from Obsidian. We've got details on 2 more upcoming Xbox exclusives. Compulsion joined Microsoft near the start of their content acquisition spree. The firm is known primarily for We Happy Few, which despite some gameplay problems, delivered big in the art direction department. We Happy Few's twisted vision of the fallen Britain proved a truly intriguing concept and solidified Compulsion as a studio with a lot of potential. Recently, we received some details on Compulsion's first outing as part of Xbox Game Studio. Currently codenamed Midnight, this upcoming title is supposedly a third-person action game set in a dark and fantastical world. Some of the game's early concept art can be seen above. They represent the game's protagonists alongside warped harpy-like humanoids that appear to descend through various iterations of mutation. On the left, we can see what appears to be harpy nest-style dwellings built atop a tree. Okay, let's start from the top. The one thing I'm happy the article mentions is that We Happy Few had a lot of potential, yet the biggest problem the game had was the gameplay problems. For a game, that's not something that's the best thing to have attached to your game. I think that has a lot to do with the size of the studio and the ambition they had with We Happy Few. It was like a studio that wanted to make a huge AAA game, yet didn't have the funding or the manpower to do so. But the one thing we can't deny is that the game's art direction was amazing. The game looked cool, and the concept was creepy yet inviting. It was this weird way to look at a game, not to mention the story in the game was unique and fun to watch. But now let's get into what the game is called. We see that the name or the code name is Midnight. It's a third-person action game, but in a dark, fantastical world. This right here gets me excited, because like we just mentioned before, this team's art direction is on another level. They made Britain look so unique, and when you took those happy pills, the world transformed into something extremely different. That's what I got from We Happy Few. They had imagination. So when I hear this team is working on a fantastical world, my hype for the game shoots up, not to mention it's going to be a third-person action-adventure game, something that Xbox has sorely needed for a very, very long time. And I heard for some time now that Compulsion wanted to expand their studio so they can dive into a third-person AAA game. They kind of remind me of Sony Bend with Days Gone, a studio that pitched a game and got the funding and expansion to make that game. That's who Compulsion reminds me of, but the difference is they've made massive games like We Happy Few. They didn't go go from making a PSP game to a PlayStation 4 game. So I have a little bit of confidence when it comes to Compulsion Games, because for them to get this newfound investment and expansion shows that Xbox trusts them. But if we look at the concept art that Windows Central posted, you can see just how in depth they're going into this game. This looks so insane and unique to me. I mean, we have harpy-like humanoids that you can see have different versions or different mutations. Then you see the nesting style dwellings where harpies tend to live and migrate to. The only game I've seen have these types of harpies in the game has to be World of Warcraft. There was multiple storylines surrounding harpies and their magic, lore, and of course lifestyle. So this game might go deep into that lore, but expand on it and make it far, far more dark. I mean, most of these concept art and evolution we see from the concept art shapes this game to be something in the dark realm. Is it going to be a horror game? I'm not too sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was dark, yet has a lot of cool action attached to it. But let's get back into what the game's all about and what the article had to say. Midnight is described as a coming-of-age tale drawing upon inspirations from America's Deep South. The game features magic and large fantastical beasts with a strong southern gothic vibe. The game is a wholly single-player experience with what has been described to me as a strong story. Right now I have no info on the launch timing of Midnight, but you're likely looking at a next couple of years for an official reveal and perhaps even a full launch. Although it could come later depending on Compulsion's growth and ambitions for the title. This sounds freaking amazing. I'm sorry to say that, but the Deep South and having magic and large fantastical beasts is what I'm all about. Having Southern Gothic vibes reminds me a little bit of True Blood, that show that had all those vampires. But this sounds like they're trying to push a lot of story-driven aspects, which the article mentions. We see that it will have a strong story. I mean, the game is entirely a single-player experience, and again, that's something I think Xbox really needed. They have co-op, they have multiplayer games down. They're the best at what they do with those. Yet for single player games, they need more investments. And we're seeing that with Compulsion Games, along with the Bethesda acquisition, who really do focus on single player games. Yet with these games, we're going to have a few years before we get them from Xbox. That's something I've said before, and I'll say it time and time again. Don't get me wrong, Psychonauts and Age of Empires and Halo Infinite will have awesome story-driven campaigns. And I've played 2 of those 3, and I can safely say Xbox is investing a lot in single-player experiences. And if you're someone that thinks Xbox isn't going to have big AAA single-player games coming this generation, you obviously haven't been paying attention at all. This studio and the people working at Compulsion are very creative. Xbox saw the potential, probably saw this concept art, and figured this was going to be a unique experience for Xbox gamers. Not to mention, it's an ambitious game that's unique. That's what Xbox wants from their first-party studios. They want them to make the games they want to make. Don't get me wrong, it's not freewheeling and letting them do whatever they want at all capacities. No, they need to pitch a good game and have a good plan of how they're going to execute those games. Which brings me back to the leadership of the studio. That's something I've talked about a lot. Xbox wants great leadership on all their studios and all their developers. People that can manage whole studios and let them do what they do best, which is make big games. Compulsion Games had great leadership and have gotten a lot out of their low resources they had at their studio before joining Xbox. Much like in Exile, much like Obsidian Entertainment, studios that were very talented but just didn't have the money and the funding to push their games to that different level of production until they joined Xbox. That's exactly what we're going to be seeing with Compulsion Games. We'll get a massive game now that they have time to make. I mean, we haven't even seen anything from them since 2018. That's already over 3 years since their last game. And I'm sure they'll have 2 or more years to make this game with their new studio and their new hires that came onto the studio. Let's hope they execute this to perfection, because to me this looks awesome. But enough of what I think about this leak. Let me know what you think. Are you excited for Compulsion's next game? Will we see this game revealed next year? What other studios are you looking forward to seeing from Xbox? Will Xbox expand their studios or bring in more new ones like they had before? What's the next single player game you're most looking forward to? Go down below and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support helps out the channel more than you know. And give me a follow on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always on there talking games and sharing my latest videos. Plus, I love interacting with everyone there, so get on Twitter and let's talk about gaming. Also, follow me on Xbox Live. My gamertag is Zalker87, just like my channel name. See what games I'm playing, and let's compete in achievements for the month. So right now, I've been playing a lot of Forza Horizon. I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty Vanguard, and I'm going to be jumping into Battlefield 2042. I don't care. I know the reviews are kind of I enjoyed the beta a lot. I'll be playing that to no end this weekend. I already bought the version that I want because I wanted to play it early. I already have my buddies lined up. We're all going to be playing it this whole weekend. I'm looking forward to it. I love Battlefield way more than I like Call of Duty, so I can't wait to see all the maps, all the new guns, all the new modes. I can't wait to jump into it because I enjoyed that beta. So, you know what? I'm looking forward to that game. But let me know what you're playing. Are you on your Xbox Series X, your PS5, or your PC? Let me know down below because that's what I want to know. I want to know what everybody's playing because that's what we're here for, is to talk games. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.